When you try to keep a terrible secret like I was, it warps every other aspect of your life. But I managed to go to work, conduct myself just like anyone else would.
Well, you're looking good. Grandma was saying
Thanks.
that she thought that you got quite a bit thinner, but you look fit. I don't know.
Well, I have been surviving mostly on McDonald's food. It's just so much easier just to pop into a restaurant. But
Yeah,
like I've said before, it gets too expensive, and
it does.
I have to start eating at home more.
Even his neighbors were fooled.
I don't know where he was getting them guys from, but he would take them in his apartment, you know, and there were a couple of them that I didn't see them come out of there, and I had asked him about that. He said, oh, well, maybe you were in the bathroom or something like that, because they're gone.
Why was it so easy, though, for you to hide it all?
I desensitized myself to it. I don't know, I went to great lengths. I bought security systems, installed them myself in the apartment. I had a video camera in the corner of the room, installed locks on the doors, sirens and stuff in case anyone broke into the apartment.
I was there, and because I taught the boys how to clean and take care of a home, I went through the refrigerator, the bathroom, behind the shower curtain. The fridge was fine, the bathroom was fine. Nothing had taken place at that time.
They said it was absolutely clean, perfect.
Right.
How'd you hide from them?
Everything was locked up, either in the freezer or in the file chest. And so there was no evidence laying in the open. There was nothing abnormal about the look of the apartment.
Dahmer's father, Lionel, is talking about his son after years of silence. Says he wants to share his thoughts on Jeffrey's terrible deeds one last time.
Everything that he did was, you know, he seemed like a very normal person. He covered up so much. And I wish that I had really pushed harder to find out what he's thinking about everything.
You need to understand, at that point in Lionel's life, he was very, very naive. If there's no communication, you don't know what the truth is.
Did his father know that at times his son was keeping secrets? Yes, but could he in his wildest dreams have imagined that the secret was that he was a serial killer who had necrophilia and had killed 17 people? I can't imagine that's the case.
And what's just as puzzling is the fact that neither the authorities nor the general public had any idea a serial killer was systematically removing men from the streets of Milwaukee.
Every year, many young men disappear, have a fight with their girlfriend, get fired from the job, have a fight with the family, and leave. And they're gone a couple of weeks and come back home. They give it very different investigative efforts compared when a young woman disappears. No one had even a suspicion that a serial slayer was afoot.
By the spring of 1991, Dahmer's victim count reaches double digits. He lures 17-year-old Curtis Straughter from a bus stop, then strangles him to death. Next, Dahmer would move on to a new obsession.
Mr. Dahmer had been sexually aroused by the idea of having sex with a dead body. He also at times had fantasies about having sex with what he referred to as zombies, human beings that existed somewhere between being dead and being alive, something he later on actually ended up acting upon.
His experiments lead to the death of his 11th victim, Errol Lindsay. A month later, he fails again, this time with 31-year-old Tony Hughes, a deaf man who Dahmer communicates with through written notes.
I tried to keep the person alive by inducing a zombie-like state. By injecting first dilute acid solution into their brain, or hot water, and it never did completely work.
Could someone like you be stopped? Could you be helped?
No, I was dead set on going with this compulsion. It was the only thing that gave me any satisfaction.
He later shares the details with a forensic psychologist.
And how far down do you think you penetrated with a drill bit?
All the way to the brain.
2 or 3 inches?
Yeah.
And you went straight down?
Right.
After 2 failed attempts at creating zombies, Dahmer tries for a 3rd time in May 1991. That would lead to his closest call yet.
Milwaukee Emergency Operator 71.
Okay, hi. I'm on 25th and State, and this is young man. He is butt naked. He has been beaten up. He is very bruised up.
He looked like a little kid. He had a towel around, and it had blood, and he had blood running down his leg.
The boy is 14-year-old Conrad Synthensamphone. Injured and drugged, he escaped when Jeffrey Dahmer left the apartment to buy beer. In a terrible twist of fate, he's the younger brother of the boy Dahmer was arrested for molesting 3 years earlier.
What had already happened that the police couldn't possibly have known is that Mr. Dahmer had drilled a small hole in the skull of this young man and poured a caustic substance into it, thinking that he now created this zombie.
They didn't see the drillings into the head that he had conducted. Apparently it was into the hairline.
The incoherent boy is with the police when Dahmer returns, but instead of fleeing the scene, he acts as cool as ever.
Dahmer went right up to the police and says, "This is my lover. Come on, I'll take you back to my apartment. Here's his clothes. They were all folded on the couch."
Mr. Dahmer did keep his wits and persuaded them by showing some pictures that this young lad had voluntarily taken, that these were just 2 consenting homosexual adults engaging in sexual activity. I don't think the police recognized the age of this young man at that time.
The body of the last victim, Tony Hughes, is still there, but the police don't look around. Instead, they leave the boy in the apartment with Dahmer.
The intoxicated Asian naked male was returned to his sober boyfriend.
Did that play an element in it, that there were homosexuals involved, possibly? I can't assess that. I think that would be a harsh judgment.
During the incident where the police were called, and the young boy was returned to you, that didn't wake you up at all? The police on your doorstep?
They were in the apartment. They were actually in the apartment, and there was a dead young man in the bedroom on the floor. I couldn't believe it when it turned out that they didn't see anything. I couldn't believe it. And yes, it did shock me, but not enough to quit. That's how strong the compulsion was.
Any neighbors with lingering suspicions are assured by the police that nothing is out of the ordinary, as you'll hear in this 911 call.
It's all taken care of, ma'am.
What if he's a child and not an adult? I mean, are you positive this is an adult?
Ma'am, like I explained to you, it's all taken care of. It's as positive as I can be.
Well, the next day, Dahmer killed him.